everyone, welcome to Check Your Leader TV. Today's video, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to have a bit of a chat with Carlo Pagano from the Napoleonic War Games Society, based in Perth, here Western Australia. They've been playtesting General d'Armée 2, the second version of General d'Armée by David Brown. I've had a bit of a playtest of the rules myself, and so this will be an interesting little discussion, talking about the rules and what we like about them, and if there's anything we don't like about them. So without further ado, we'll get straight into it. I basically spoke to Carlo through Messenger, so you'll hear him, you won't see him. I have put a picture up so you'll be able to put a face to a name. So without further ado, let's have a sneak peek at the soon-to-be-released General d'Armée 2. Hey, Carlo.
How's things, buddy?
Good, long time no see.
It's been too long, my friend. It's been too long. As you can see, I'm working from home.
Yeah.
Undercoating and doing a whole lot of crap.
Are you still working like doing real work, or are you retired now?
No, unfortunately I am working, but I had this terrible bloody conjunctivitis that I copped.
Yeah.
Just a viral conjunctivitis of all things.
Yeah.
So I've had it for, Jesus Christ, mate, I'm going to say 2.5 weeks.
Oh.
Now, mate, I've been talking to Stan over here.
Yeah.
And he's told me, and this surprised me, Scott.
Yeah.
Okay, I've always thought you were a very sensible and reasonable man, not to be pissed off.
Yeah.
Okay, on certain issues.
Yeah.
But a smart and reasonable man. And then Stan says, you know, he's got a young one at home now. And I said, what do you mean? He says, he's got a baby. I said,
well, she's not a baby. She's 5.
Toddler, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, a 5-year-old. I know.
Yeah.
But you went to the well again, and I said, Jesus Christ, mate. He's a braver man than I am. I'll give you the tip.
Well, here's the thing. If your wife's 15 years younger than you, and when you meet, like, I met Rach, she was 22, I was 37.
Yeah.
And so, like, she was like, I want to have kids, you know, like 10, 20, you know. So what are you going to do? You're going to go, well, no, I've already had children, so no, that's not happening.
No, mate, I think for the 15 years, you take the sacrifice, mate.
Yeah, I'll take the hit. I'll take the hit. So yeah, and
I think so.
she's a good woman, man, and and she's keeping me in the. She's just got promoted to major actually at the start of this year.
Beautiful. That's a good coin.
Yeah. So and she's just picked up subunit command at the 5th Battalion Royal Australian Regiment as the combat support company commander. So
where's that based? Is that
Darwin.
Okay, so how often do you see her?
And often enough. Let's just say, often enough. She comes home when she can get home, and I stay here. I look after the children, and I paint miniatures and play war games.
Yeah, it's a hard life.
It's a tough gig.
Yeah, it's a hard life.
And all the kids are at school, so you know, it's pretty good.
Well, it's good, mate. I mean, look, you know, the way it is too.
Yeah.
Life's too short, Scott. I mean, how old are you now?
I just turned 58.
Yeah, you're 58 now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, you've still got another good 30 years.
Yeah, well, I'm lucky to be here, actually. I went to...
I saw it all.
Mate, and I've got to go back in the hospital in 5 weeks because I've got a herniated bowel now. So this General d'Armée version 2.
Yep, so how do you want to do this, mate? Did you want to record this? Do you just want to take it?
Yeah, I'll go to camera. I'll press play, and then hang on a second. And then I just wanted to get your thoughts on, because you guys have been play testing it over there a fair bit.
Yep. Oh.
And I've played a couple of games here. I've read through the rules. Dave Brown was kind enough to send me I think it's the final draft copy. It has to be, because it's off at the printers now, and the copy he sent me seems to be the final draft. And
does it have pictures in there or anything yet?
No pictures. It was just the text and some line drawings and things like that. So it's not the Gucci, nothing like that. He did send me this morning. I received in the email the cover art, the carabinier.
Is it still the carabinier?
Yeah, it's a carabinier with the. I think it's a Russian or Prussian standard. I think it'd be Russian. Well, it has to be Russian because the carabinier's in the 1812 uniform with the. But anyway, I got the rules sent to me. Had a play of them. Now, I was of the opinion when General d'Armée. I've been playing General d'Armée version 1 since it was released, and I couldn't see any reason to mess with it. I thought.
Can I tell you, they are exactly my thoughts, and I'm happy to share those.
Yeah. So I was like, these are great rules. Why mess with them? But having played a couple of games and read through the rules, I didn't think you could do it. But these are better.
I could not agree more.
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, I'll go on the record with that, mate. So no problem.
Yeah.
I will. Look, Scott, I'm 100% with you. When I first heard, I was a very early take-upper of General d'Armée as well.
Yeah.
As a lot of the guys were at the Napoleonic Wargaming Society, and for quite some time, obviously before that, I was a fan of General Brigade.
Yeah.
I thought General Brigade was a great system, but as you know, General Brigade did have its limitations.
Yeah.
The kind of size of game that you could get complete on a night or even over a day.
Yeah.
The command and control elements as well, which were probably certainly not as sophisticated as General Army.
Yeah.
And certainly nowhere near the level as you'll get, as we'll expand upon in General Army version 2.
Yeah.
But so we were all looking for something. We found General Army, and it was just an absolutely sensational set of rules. I mean, it was a set of rules where it gave us a good feel for the game. It gave us a good game.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, and all your videos show that as well.
What I liked about it was it basically got all the chrome, all the experience of a Napoleonic battle, because everyone, like, this is the thing. I read history about the Napoleonic Wars and I go, well, this is what I imagine a Napoleonic battle would be like. You'll always have someone who'll have a slightly different view of it.
Of course.
But generally speaking, it's like this hits the right tenor for a divisional size battle, But what really impressed me was there was enough friction in it to frustrate you to a degree. You know what I mean? Because I don't like games where you're allowed. I'm going to move my troops here, and then it just happens. It's like anyone with any military experience goes, that's just too easy, man. Like that's just not, even in like today with all the modern battlefield communications we have. Even now, things, and I've tried to explain this to people, and I swear to God, it's like smacking your head against a brick wall sometimes, saying to people, it's the simple things that bring you unstuck. It's the things that you think, we'll easily do that. It's like, nah, there's always a fly in the ointment.
Absolutely.
And so General d'Armée version 1 introduced enough friction. The game was playable, but there was enough there to frustrate you a little. But the other thing was it played so quickly. The speed, I've played big divisional size games, verging on a core size game, and I've got it knocked over in 3 hours.
Oh, and it's
like,
very, because, and I guess without giving the game away, we'll talk about some elements of General Army too, which I think they have just got absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
Particularly in terms of, the core orders and the divisional orders.
Yeah.
Okay. The aide de camps, which was always in General Army, I thought was something, you played the games, etc., etc. But General Army too, the aide de camps, I'm not to the Bruce Quarry wargaming set of rules where you had national characteristics, but there is enough national variation in there.
Yeah.
One, to give a good feel for whatever particular army you may be taking.
Yeah.
French at the peak and the glory years.
Yeah.
Got an advantage, command and control. Now, that doesn't mean that the French soldier is a better soldier than the Austrian soldier. No. The French cavalryman is a better cavalryman than the Austrian cavalryman. Because history would tell you that historically that's probably not the case.
Yeah, this is the thing. And I had this discussion with someone just the other day. It's like, I think Look, there are national characteristics differences, but they're very slight. I don't think it's like this idea that the thin red line, the British infantry, was just like, it's like advancing on a battalion of machine guns. It's like, no, they shoot better, but the real strength of the British was the fact that Wellington deployed his armies in a way that the lines were protected. They were either well screened or they used terrain well, so that by the time French columns arrived, the British lines were still quite fresh.
Absolutely.
They hadn't been shot up, so they were able to deliver disciplined volleys.
That was the advantage of General Army. General Army rewarded historical tactics.
Yes.
Army rewarded you using formations and the formations that they're meant to be for the task that you're assigning to them.
Yeah.
Okay. There were some areas of confusion, mass columns sometimes, but we got to the crux of it. So getting back to the original premise in terms of if it ain't broke, why fix it?
Yeah.
Heard that they were going to do General Army 2. I was a little bit distressed.
Yes, so was I. I thought, oh no, don't.
Oh God!
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
My favourite set of rules.
Yeah.
And the guys at the club were very similar.
Yeah.
Okay. They were very similar.
Yeah.
Mate, that radio a little bit loud in the background. Can you hear that, or is that okay?
I can't hear it. It sort of like comes in and every now and then. I didn't know what it was. I just thought you.
Classic FM, mate. You've got to have classic.
I was going to say it sounded like classical music, but anyway.
So the guys at the club, and Stan was one.
Yeah.
He said, "What are they doing? I'm just getting the hang of it."
Yeah.
Then the draft started to come through.
Yeah.
Okay. And first, there's two things here that are important. I never realised, and you know, I've put together some rules.
Yeah.
I never realised the level and depth of playtesting that Dave and Rich will go through.
Yeah.
In getting this right.
Yeah.
And that has its wonderful. There's a wonderful aspect to that you, as you know, Scott, you can have input.
Yeah.
Whenever that's a good thing.
Yeah.
The danger of it, of course, as a player,
it's too much input.
Is that one, there might be too much input coming along,
yeah.
Or two, the next time you play, am I playing version 3 or am I playing version 7?
Yeah.
Do we do that? That can, and of course, what you're using is you're using a draft.
Yeah.
Okay. Index, etc. So it's really, you really have to be determined to be part of the process.
Yeah.
If you're determined to be part of the playtesting process and you're willing to put up with that, and we were very fortunate that we've got guys that were totally invested.
Yeah.
Okay. With the exception of a couple of chaps who said, "Look, I don't play test, fellas." When the final versions were
and I can understand that. I can understand that completely. But yeah, like I said, like you, I was skeptical. I thought, don't mess with. You know, you're 95% there. You know, it's like we see it in every aspect of society. It's like, oh, we just want to tinker with it a little bit more. It's like, no, don't, no, you fucked it. You know, you had to push it to the 98% mark, didn't you? It was purring along nicely, and you went and threw a fucking spanner in the. But the way it is now, I've got to admit, I thought it was great. Now, having said that, one chap I played with the other day, he goes, "Nah, he's broken it," and on reflection,
what was his what
the problem from his perspective? He went, "Oh, he's made the French too powerful, and he's nerfed the British," and I'm looking at it going, "Well, I don't really see how the British are nerfed. I think they're not." I had a look at the statistics, the tables, and I basically looked at it and I thought, well, hang on. The way I look at it, units don't become worn as quickly, but when they do start taking when they do start breaking up, they break up sooner.
Well, they all get worn at 6 now.
Yeah.
So all infantry units get worn at 6.
Yeah.
Okay. And then of course they will disperse depending if they're large.
Yeah, they're 12, 10, 15, whatever. Yeah. But the thing with the British, I think what he was complaining is what the Brits had that line all of their own, right? Whereas now it's like, well, they shoot just like the French do, but they get a casualty dice.
Well, don't underestimate the casualty.
Yeah, well, exactly, and this is exactly what I said. I said that means that every time they fire, there's a 50% chance that they will inflict one casualty.
Correct.
And in a prolonged firefight, or even the thing is, infantry lines should not be. If you're assaulting, your columns, or even if you're assaulting the lines, they shouldn't be striking the enemy until he is near worn. Because if he's not, I'm sorry, you're going to get shot to pieces. You don't deserve to break through if you're assaulting fresh lines.
But what GDA 2 once again emphasises is the requirement to have all arms.
Yes, exactly.
Working together.
Yeah.
The aide-de-camp taskings. Now, it's so long since I've played General to Army, the first version.
Yeah.
Because is just General to Army 2 now, I'm sure. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So General to Army, the taskings.
Yeah.
No, General Army had.
Yeah, they had GDA 1 had ADC taskings. You had skirmisher, infantry assaults, all that kind of stuff.
So the aide-de-camps for infantry assault now, of course, it's one aide-de-camp, not two.
Yeah.
But one only allowed, for example, one element of that brigade infantry battalion can charge, not three.
Yes.
Supports that have come into it. Now you have supports who are masked by other supports, units that are masked by other units. For example, a unit that's within, let's say, 15 millimetre scale, 10 centimetres of another unit, that can't support because they've got other things on their mind. They've got another unit in front of them.
That's right. So you've really got to, like, what I found with GDA version 2, what it rewards is your preparation.
Correct.
You have to prepare the objective before you assault it. And the thing is, anyone that's read any Napoleonic Wars history knows this. It's like, if you launch an assault and you haven't prepared the enemy, first you bombard them with artillery, then you bring up some guns maybe for some close support. The skirmishers go forward and pepper away. It's like Wellington said. He said, these continental armies, I think they were beaten before the French even got to them. Because they were. And that's why Wellington goes, no, I'm gonna do outrageous shit. I'm gonna actually tell my boys to lie down. And if I can put them behind a ridge, I will. More often than not, when the French assaulted, all they saw was a skirmish screen when they were attacking the Brits. Whereas the French, the Russians and the Austrians, they were all laid out there for the French to see, and Napoleon to go, well, bring up the guns, I'll blow a hole in the line, and then I'll pour my columns through.
Well, you touch on a couple of interesting things there too, Scott.
Yeah.
Is that so many people base their, I guess, knowledge of Napoleonic wargaming on French, British Peninsula or 1815.
Yeah.
Which obviously Peninsula was a very extended campaign.
Yeah.
Fascinating period to study.
Yeah.
And then the 1815 campaign, the 100 Days, etc. So much more fighting in terms of the Continental armies, the Austrians, the Prussians.
Yeah.
Of course, some people don't realise no one fought Napoleon more than the Austrians.
Yeah.
But you talked about your mate, obviously, having a little look. You touched on the tables.
Yeah.
And Dave, in the early stages of, I guess, the genesis of what to do with General Army 2 to make one a more accessible game, a quicker game, and probably one where you could have bigger games with the greater elements of command and control, was to simplify what you could simplify.
Yeah.
Hence Warn, etc. But also the simplification of the charts that you would, and the factors that you have to go down. So at the end of the day, it doesn't take too many games to realise that you're now broken down into, what is it, standard... it's
standard volleys, inferior volleys, and weak.
Inferior volley and a weak.
Which is just a CD.
It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant system.
Yeah.
We talked about the cross, the use of all the various arms.
Yeah.
At your disposal. I think where he's also hit a massive six over square. Yeah. Square leg, mate, is skirmishes.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
I think the changes to the skirmisher combat.
Yeah.
Skirmisher combat. Let's take that back.
Yeah.
Skirmisher abilities.
Yeah.
in terms of what they can do, how they can do it, is I think superb.
Yeah,
absolutely superb. Because everywhere that every major author that you read, primary sources, secondary sources, skirmishing was so important as part of the softening up process.
Exactly.
Screening process.
And the game that I played with this chap, David, a great guy and a good gamer as well, and he plays in a good spirit and whatnot. The game that I played with him, what I found was in the game I was playing as French, he was playing as British, and it was that first scenario out of the Victoria campaign, Ozma.
Yes.
Okay. The English in the game, he came forward in lines. So he wasn't assaulting in columns, he was assaulting in lines. Okay. So that meant he was slower coming forward, which my guns were able to play on him a bit more. Second of all, his skirmish screens, what happened was my skirmishers would come out and drew his skirmishers away into these skirmish battles, so that when his lines were coming forward onto the French lines, there was no skirmish screen protecting them. And so what happened is the English came forward, they had been played on by French guns, then they received volleys, and I must admit, my dice rolling was awesome, so these volleys really chewed him up. Yeah. And so that by the time his English lines were reaching the French lines, they were already done.
Yeah.
And so when he was shooting inferior volleys because he was shooting whilst moving, so that was working against him. Yeah. And also, the troops were worn by the time they got to me.
So the first mistake he made was being a British player attacking anybody.
Well, in the scenario, he has to. But the thing is, British can fight in columns too.
Of course.
And they did. And so, but I think where the real problem was the fact that the French hadn't been prepared. I had a veteran French light infantry in line with one casualty on it by the time the English arrived.
Yeah, and he's picked a pretty bloody solid unit to go there. And that's the other thing that I think Scott's got right. And we'll probably touch on the army lists or the pickup back of the rules a little bit further on. But he very much limits the really good troops.
Yes,
and you know and I know we've all played guys that they want to have.
I want to have the old guard.
Or they want to have the Imperial Guard and everything. And you know what? God bless you. Fantastic.
They make great games, but the guard only fought in a handful of engagements.
Correct. And so unless you're doing Young Guard and say they.
Oh yeah, but then the Young Guard are just basically classed as grenadiers.
But and that's what Dave's done so well. So it's intriguing to see in that result, of course, and we go back to command and control, the ability to have reserves.
Yes.
To have these other taskings where the march moves, etc., etc.
Yeah.
We redeploy that division that's been worn, and we fresh troops because you know what, this just hasn't worked, and Marshal Scott's just absolutely blown the bejesus out of these boys that are coming up to the ridge or whatever the position was.
Yeah.
Those options are available to you as a player and made out very, very easily. I mean, obviously, once again, you have to have the aide de camps.
Yeah.
Okay. You've got to, and I know that some people get a little bit frustrated with aide de camps. I love it.
So do I. I think it's do what
you want to do.
Yeah, I think the aide de camp system is probably, and the thing is, it's brilliant because that's how divisional commanders got things done, was aide de camps. And so what you have is the way the divisional commander influences the battle is by getting his aide de camps out to the brigades and trying to get the brigades to nudge the brigades along to do the things that they have to do. But in this version 2, what I particularly like, and this is the thing I like the most about it, is divisional commanders or CNCs in the game suddenly have a lot more influence because you get these command tasks, these CNC tasks now. So you have each brigade generates its aide de camp, which obviously essentially is the divisional commander's staff, his muscle to get stuff done. But now, as opposed to version 1, where the divisional commander, that's all he really did. He just generated the ADCs. He just allocated the ADCs, and that was it.
He didn't really do a lot. Yeah,
so in GDA version 1, the divisional commander or the commander-in-chief of your army on the table, he basically all he did was you had him on the table and he went, okay, I've managed to generate 5 ADCs for this turn, so I'm going to give 2 to that brigade because I want them on artillery assault. Oh, and I'll give them a brigade tasking for a re-roll in case that goes to Clag, and then I'll give that brigade an ADC staff tasking just to make sure they get a re-roll, and I'll give that brigade an ADC staffing to get a re-roll, and that brigade, well, they're on their own. Hopefully they won't go hesitant. But now with this command CNC tasking, you now have an opportunity where the divisional commander can actually go, you know what, I'm going to ride over there and grab that bastard by the epaulets and get things done. And so now you have the divisional commander actually inserting himself straight into the battle and doing that kind of narrative stuff that you read about, where it's like, Nace, grabbing a faltering guard and say, stand with me, and
And that's exactly what the command and control system in these rules achieves.
Yeah.
It enables you to do that. It also forces you to put resources where the resources are required.
Yes.
So if you want to assault across the front in a divisional game, your front, you can go ahead. Don't be surprised if things go a little bit pear-shaped.
Yeah.
Someone falters, the brigade next door falters. I wasn't able to assault. Oh, there's a counter-attack happening.
Yeah.
Why wasn't I prepared? Well, you were prepared because you tried to spread yourself too thin. So General Army 2 certainly rewards the commander, the gamer, the player, who wants to, who's organised, who wants to concentrate his resources at the point then required, or alternatively, has to concentrate his resources at the point where he needs to recover the situation.
Yeah.
And that's where there are some of those commands. Now's your time, Maitland, and the nice nuances that Dave's put in there. Which are fantastic.
So it really rewards careful timing. So you've got to have a plan. You can't just go, we'll just see. I mean, you can go, well, I'm just going to see what the enemy does and I'll just react to it. It's like, okay, that's not much of a plan. And now he's inside your OODA loop and you're screwed now because he's dictating the game. And so what it rewards now, in my opinion, is like you formulate a plan, you stick with it, maintain a reserve, and commit your commander at the point of decision when he should be there. Or if it's all going pear-shaped, make sure he's got something up his sleeve to shore up where things are going bad. Yeah. And so,
but the fact that we're talking so much and so glowingly, and we've just really basically touched on command and control, shows you how well I think he's ticked all the boxes in that regards. I think it's a very subtle, sophisticated, nuanced, understandable system that he's got in place. Yeah. And with its own, once again, it has its own little subtleties in terms of having bold brigadiers and the chances of certain nationalities in certain years, periods having slightly more bold than not. People will be impressed by the command and control.
And the fact that it can be played as a divisional level game where you're commanding, you're a divisional commander commanding brigades, with the maneuver units being battalions of infantry, batteries of guns and regiments of cavalry, and then skirmish, brigade skirmish lines. Or you can play it as a core level game where you're a core commander, and that's when these adjutant taskings come in now as well. So you've got all these different layers of command. You've got at the brigade level, you've got your brigade commanders, and they get their ADCs given to them, and they're told what to do. And then you've got the divisional commander who's coordinating his brigades, and then you've got that core level where you've got a guy going, I'm gonna put all my command effort with this division here, and leave that divisional commander to do the tasking that he's got. I mean, right from the get-go, the fact that the first thing you have to do in the game is determine, are you an attacker or a defender? Which seems, well, obvious, but really, how many times are you playing a game with someone, they're defending, and suddenly you see they're attacking, and it's like, man, they've really sprung from defense to offense seamlessly.
Well, let's talk about that now, because another aspect of General to Army 2, which I think was brilliant, particularly in this age where there's a lot of pickup games. Not everyone will game a scenario on a weekend.
Yeah.
Base where they can do, but they'll go to a club or they'll go to a friend's place, 6x4 if they're playing 15s, maybe slightly larger, and 6 mil and 2 mil seem to be making, as well as epic, as you know.
Yeah.
So, and there's a model in there within the rules in order to scout. Okay, so in terms of deployment, you work out who the attacker, the defender is, where you put dice down to represent the positions of certain brigades or formation. You get a chance to scout if you're the attacker to work out where who that might be. I think that's fantastic.
Yeah,
you rock up on a Wednesday night. You've worked, you've done this, that. You've already got your army sorted out.
Yeah.
On the basis of Dave's lists at the back.
Yeah.
Or historical order of battle, which I know you and I prefer.
Yeah.
But you've got the ability to do these subtle scouting reports, deployment. You start the game in a way which I guess a lot of younger gamers now are very familiar with.
Yeah.
Okay? In terms of, we need to do this to start off, and it's like you and I both like chain of command.
Yeah.
The scouting phase, the reconnaissance phase of chain of command is fantastic. I enjoy that.
Yeah,
I enjoy part of General Army too, in terms of the scouting and trying to work out, trying to get an edge on the opponent, even before a dice has been rolled with anger.
Yeah.
Fantastic fun.
Yeah, that's what that's the other thing that I really enjoyed, the fact that hang on, just someone's trying to call me. I want them to go away. I really enjoy the fact that, I mean, this impressed me. It was like, okay, there's now a fog of war. There's actually a real fog of war, because when you're the defender, when you deploy, and you put a dice down. What I do is I actually put down the brigade commander.
Yeah.
And I have a couple of extra staff officers, guys, leaning on horses, peering over a horse with a telescope and things like that. And you put them on the table, and it's like, okay. And the attacker comes up. When I was playing with Dave, he's going, "Oh, what's that?" I said, "Well, this is my army." He goes, "Where is it?" I said, "Yes, where is it?" And I go, "This is the way it works." I said, "You're going to have to try and scout here." How's that? Well, it's just an opposed dice roll. But it's funny how, it's like, I'm really trying to find out what's there. He rolls his dice. He doesn't beat me. Oh, you can scout again. Can I scout here again? I said, "Well, you can." All right, I'll try there again, and it's like, and he just can't. And so he ends up knowing, he can see how the army's deployed roughly, but it's not, he's not quite 100% certain. And then I put out the brigades he has scouted, and he sees it, he goes, "Oh, okay, now I can see where you are." It's like, well, but there's these two, like, am I over here or am I over there? It's like, I don't know. Then he puts his troops on the table, and then, everything's revealed, and it's like, whoa, I wasn't expecting them over there. Yeah. And it's so simple.
And of course, that lovely element that if your 3 scouting attempts, if you out-scout him twice, you've got the ability for one of your formations to actually set up an extra, is it 20 centimetres or 30 centimetres on? I can't recall.
Yeah.
Get a little bit on that roll as well. So, and of course, it basically replaces the old blinds, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The old tiles, etc. And the fact that you can also, as a defender, defend up to the halfway line, and also have a couple of fake ones.
Yeah.
So that's it's a lovely little aspect of it. It is the preamble to the game itself, which we're talking about. The game itself is fantastic.
Yeah.
But a nice little element to it,
Yeah.
Oh, sorry for the interruption of the discussion. At this point, I had a tradesman turn up. He had some work to do in the house, so I had to attend to that. But that was soon resolved, and we were back into our discussion. So let's return to your usual programming.
Well, I've got these flies in their death throes now, thanks to the good old Fly spray. Because I had to open up the roller door for this guy to come in to do his work, and then in comes the hordes of flies. It's like
It's a bit Australian lifestyle.
it is. It is for the people that are listening to this overseas and watching this. It's like this is nectar of the gods, man.
Summer requirement.
Yeah. Just for good measure.
There you go.
There he goes. The last one, I can hear him.
Suddenly an 8-inch huntsman just dropped.
Yeah, massive. Yeah, it's like those cartoons where you see that spider going, "Oh, hi, I'm your friendly spider. I eat the fly." What? Why are you killing my wife? Why are you killing my wife? Yeah. But anyway, what we were talking about the fact that you can play it at core level now, like it spans. It's so elastic in regards to the level in which you can play it at.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And of course, and you get the additional aid to camps that go with that as well.
Yeah.
And certain aid to camps are available, certain commands are available, the different coloured dice for the large scale core commands, etc.
Yeah.
So it's and of course, you just can't keep on using that same order, of course.
Yeah.
It's nice and subtle. And then you get to the actual crux of it. I mean, I guess the meat to veg part of the actual game. The game flows beautifully.
Yeah. And again, like the games that I've played so far, I'm impressed with the fact that it's so seamless. It moves along at a really good clip, so the game plays quickly. There's very rarely do you need to consult the rules. I find the charge process now is a lot more streamlined and simple. Hand to hand is a lot more simple. Now there's no +1 for this, +1 for that, -1 for. It's either a standard volley or it's an inferior volley. And if you're really in the hurt locker, you get a weak volley, and that's it.
Well, the charge process itself is fantastic too. Okay, in terms of not just the fact that you'll get in, but depending on what's your state of play, you'll either be disciplined, shaken, or disordered.
Yeah.
So you can still hit. The charge can still hit.
Yeah.
But you can be disordered.
Yeah.
Okay? And with all the bad things that go with that, of course, and being able to actually end up rolling your dice. Because you remember the old days with the charge dice, you had 2 dice.
Yeah.
And then you had variables and the factors.
Yeah.
Now you're disordered, you're rolling 4d6.
Yeah, and you're picking the 2 lower.
And the 2 lowest.
Yeah.
And you can't re-roll any scores of 1.
Yeah.
With your supports.
Yeah.
Your discipline, you're going in there, you're rolling 2.
Yeah.
No modifiers.
Yeah.
And of course, one of the
and then you got the re-rolls for the supports.
Yeah, because of course it rewards supported attacks.
Yeah, and so this is the thing I like. It's like if your attacks are well planned, well prepared, and you're striking an enemy who you've treated appropriately, then generally speaking, you can go. This assault should be successful. It can still
greater than if they're not.
Yes, it could still come unstuck.
It could still go pear-shaped quickly.
Yeah.
As historically they did. I mean, at the end of the day, you had formations that managed to hold on through all kinds of odds.
Yeah.
Exception rather than the rule.
Yeah.
Typically, if that unit is worn in bad nick, as we touched on before, being assaulted by someone who knows what they're doing, it's in trouble.
Yeah.
Maybe even invariably before, there's actually a clash of arms.
Yeah, and this is the thing. When I played General d'Armée version 1, my default was I do not assault until I've shaken the enemy. I just don't do it. I know you can do it, and you can sometimes get away with it, but more often than not, you'll come a cropper.
Oh, your soldiers would have loved you.
Yeah. So it's like, send a bullet, not a man, So, I was like,
Omelets and breaking eggs and Napoleon Maxons. The man's first.
Yeah, but the thing is now with this version, like you said, where when you go in, you're either disciplined, shaken, or was it disciplined? when you go into the assault, you're either going in disciplined. What is it? It's disciplined.
You're either disciplined, okay. You're shaken.
Disciplined, shaken, or what was the third one again? I can't remember.
Disordered.
Disordered. That's right. A disordered assault. Yeah. So so the thing is, I've lost my train of thought now. Where I was going with it. Oh yeah, so the thing is, you get these re-rolls when you're going in. So basically, if you're going in, you've got you work out: am I a 2 dice assault, or am I 3 dice assault and I pick the worst 2, or am I 4 dice assault and I pick the worst 2, and then do I have re-rolls? And that's pretty much it. And that's simple.
That's right. And that's for the charge process, because if you recall,
yeah,
you declare your charges second or third phases. The second part of
it's the
after commander initiative.
Yeah, straight after commander initiative.
Charges. Once again, if you've got the initiative, of course, you still have the initiative aspect of the rules as well.
Yeah.
Less chance of having initiative if you have a lot of faltering brigades.
Yeah. Funnily enough, yeah.
Across your battlefront, okay, and then you declare your charges. The defender or the chap without the initiative declares charges, and then you work that out. And of course, that's before movement.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a new thing, of course, with reserve movement.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
which is fantastic. Once again, so a very simple mechanism.
Yeah.
The tabletop has made a massive difference.
Yeah.
Where it's positioned, of course, okay, but then you've got your tactical movement.
Yeah.
So
you can't react tactically to a reserve move. Exactly. So it's like everyone makes their tactical moves, right? I'm done, and then the reserves come. It's like, well, did you hold anything to counter that? No, I tactically moved everyone over here. Well, aren't you in a bit of a bother? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and I also like the way shooting now. It's instead of just everyone would shoot, you go down the line, skirmishes, and then this line and the battery. It's like no, it's volley fire, artillery fire, then skirmish fire, if I remember correctly. But the bottom line is it's divided into
another subtle difference.
Yeah.
So for the chaps who are familiar with General Army 2, and what you've said, it's your turn, you fire everything, and then they fire.
Yeah,
everything.
yeah.
Not anymore. Those days are gone. Okay?
Yep.
So you've got the initiative. Your skirmishes fire.
Yeah.
The enemy fire.
Yeah.
Your artillery fires. The enemy artillery fires. Now, once again, if you're in counter battery fire and you've inflicted casualties, he's become worn. Well, you know what? That's an inferior fire factor.
Yeah.
So you have impacted on them.
Yeah.
And then the volley fire.
Yeah.
And of course, the volley fire, which sometimes, it's like we've all played guys that they'll fire everything.
Yeah.
On the off chance
that you'll get one hit.
We'll get double six.
Yeah.
Well, even the double sixes are not quite as impactful.
Yeah.
They still have actually an impact on the game.
Yeah.
But the chaps are discouraged from
just shooting at everything, every opportunity. Yeah.
It's fantastic, and of course, in these rules, if you want to take speculative long-range artillery fire, prize if you roll a 2 or 3, and you end up with a fatigue casualty.
Yeah, and I like that. I mean, like I said, I'm looking at it here. So it's skirmishers shoot first, then your artillery shoots, and then your volleys fire, which makes perfectly good sense because the skirmish screen would come up, they would start peppering away at the line. Meanwhile the guns would be banging away, and then that's when it's like, well, these skirmishers are really having a detrimental effect on the line. Okay, well, let's fire a volley at them. Maybe that'll drive them off. Or better still, let's reinforce our skirmish line and get our skirmishers to drive their skirmishers off. Or what are these donkey wallopers doing over here? Maybe they could contribute something rather than just sitting around looking pretty all day. Maybe they could drive these skirmishers away for us.
Can I tell you, you just hit a really important point there, Scott.
Yeah.
I've had some games where guys have said, the skirmishers are too strong. Well, the skirmishers are really doing what historically they did.
Yeah.
What you haven't done is done historically what an enemy, let's say a section commander, I won't say section commander, it's wrong too. But you're in charge of a particular line of the battlefront.
Yeah, you get some more skirmishers out there.
Why would you try and drive them off?
Yeah.
Why would you send a send some chasseurs and chevelle or some light troops.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is one of the reasons why the Prussians went to their all-arms brigades, where they went, put some cavalry in amongst the infantry brigades. Why? It'll keep the enemy skirmishers honest, if nothing else. You know, and so yeah, I mean, so it's subtle. It's the subtle things that he's changed, where like he's now gone. There's actually a sequence to firing that makes it's a slight change, but it makes a massive difference in the game. Divisional commanders now have input. It's a slight change, but it really does change because that's a powerful thing. Where you go, because if I've only got 2 commands, generally speaking, if he's a reasonable divisional commander, he's only going to have 2 command chits to spend. It's like, and they can really make the difference between a line holding or an attack actually succeeding. So they're little changes all through the rules, these slight little changes. And I'm glad he went through a version 2, because I guess a lot of these things you could have done with an errata to version 1, but you would have ended up with an errata that was, you know.
No, he's done absolutely the right thing.
Yeah.
And just harking back to that, skirmishers shoot, my skirmishers, your skirmishers, my
artillery, your artillery, yeah.
Just from you know what, mate, just from a subtle gaming perspective,
yeah.
Purely gaming perspective, it keeps your opponents
engaged.
Because sometimes, how easy is it for somebody, okay, I'm going to fire. Then suddenly someone comes up, has a chat, I'm just going to the bar.
Yeah.
No, you're not going anywhere, because as soon as I roll these dice, you're going to roll your dice.
Yeah.
So it just keeps people constantly involved. There's nothing worse than a game. And you've played them.
Yeah.
I've played them in the past. We've been wargaming, you and I, for a long time.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than knowing that it's not your turn, and you can set your watch to it. I guess I'll be doing something in 15 or 20 minutes.
Yeah.
On those
I remember the first really big Napoleonic game I played at a convention. It was at CanCon. We played a 2-day. We refought. Essentially, it was supposed to be the refight of Waterloo, but it was. I mean, it was a part of it. Yeah, a big part of it. But the thing is, and the rules we used at the time were pretty good rules at the time. I think they were called Elan, which was evolved out of the old WRG. They were good rules. But the thing is, it was a big game, and so you'd have a time it's like, okay, well, it's not our turn, right? Okay, well, I'm going to go to the bring and buy stall. I'll be back in an hour. And it would be, you come back an hour later, and is it our turn yet? No, I've got another, pretty soon now. Okay, I might go get a hot dog. And then you come back. Are we going? It's our turn, started 5 minutes ago. Where you been? I went and got a hot dog.
Well, this set of rules, mate, you go off and get a hot dog at your own peril.
Yeah, this is not a hot dog friendly set of rules in any way. Set of rules.
This is one where
you got to be engaged. Yeah. So anyway, I think anything else you want to add? I think we've pretty much covered it all.
Yeah, I think so. Look, my I guess my favourite aspects of the rules. Biggest is that something that, like we said at the start, mate, you're going to change something for the sake of changing.
Yeah.
Okay. This is not the case. This is not General Army 1.1.
Yeah.
This is a brand new General Army.
Yeah.
Okay, so right away you're getting a great set of Napoleonic rules. The bones are good.
Yeah.
Okay. But you're getting a very playable set of rules that gives you the correct, in my mind, the correct feel for Napoleonic warfare.
Yeah.
Right? From the rules, the novels I've read, the primary sources, etc. From all my experience of Napoleonic wargaming this year, or whatever that's worth.
Yeah.
The subtle changes have been made to make it a quicker playing game, but you lose none of the nuance through the speed.
Yeah.
In fact, all enhanced.
Yeah.
Charges are simpler, yet they are more important.
Yeah.
Every aspect of movement is critically important. It is a very well thought out, put together set of rules.
Yeah.
And you'll be the same.
Yeah.
I've been really, really chuffed to have been a part of the process.
Yeah.
admiration
Yeah.
for Dave and Rich and the guys that go to this level of, this level of detail to make sure that everything is spot on.
Yeah. So how many guys were in the playtesting group you were involved in?
Okay, so we had 8.
8. That's good.
Okay, and for those of you who aren't familiar with my wargaming club, I've been a member there since '81.
Yeah.
Okay, Playtesting Wargaming Society in North Perth.
Yeah.
In West Australia. In a way, what was great is that we brought back a bit of 15mm Napoleonic wargaming to the Napoleonic Wargaming Club.
Yeah.
You know, and Scott, I know that you're a big 28mm gamer.
Yeah. So I had at one point 28mm Napoleonics, 15mm Napoleonics, 6mm Napoleonics, and I had some 10mm. And I just went, this is insane. So I've gone, I've now just two scales, 28mm and 6mm. So
I've still got masses of 28s as I look at them as I talk to
yeah.
them. Okay, but I've gotten 15mm, and one of the reasons that we got 15mm Napoleonic wargaming going on, because all these guys had 28s,
Yeah.
was that on a Wednesday night at the club, okay, it was almost like our training session. And we're all getting older, Scott.
Yeah. Hauling in trays of 28mm miniatures.
So we
Yeah.
can all bring our little box of 15mm figures,
Yeah.
The divisions or whatever we have.
Yeah.
We lay it out on a 6x4 table and get the game done.
Yeah.
And the games are played to conclusion.
Yeah.
They're not at the point where it's
Yeah. I'm going to call it because I think we're winning.
You know, is that,
Yeah.
Not that at all.
Yeah.
The games are played to conclusion.
Yeah.
So we had 8 guys, Scott. They all stuck with it thick and thin. We've got another couple of guys that, once again, as I said, didn't want to really get to the playtesting part of it.
Yeah.
With a couple of blokes absolutely embraced, and I have to call out a big shout out to Peter, who's been all over getting scenarios going. We've put a few.
Which Peter? Peter
Dale.
Yeah, okay, Peter Dale, right.
And he's put together a lot of those big games, those big 18-14 assaults, and you see those beautiful tables that we've laid out.
Yeah.
Beautiful eye for terrain.
Yeah.
But he's got a beautiful eye for scenario creation.
Yeah. And those they're on your blog, aren't they? On your Whiff of Grape shop?
I think you'll find them if anyone's on Facebook.
Yeah.
Some of them are on the blog. Actually, yeah, some of them are on the blog.
So I'll put a link for in this. It's what is it? It's a Whiff of Grape.
Up on the Facebook General Army page.
Yeah, General Army Facebook page. Yep, and then there's the.
Finding blogs harder and harder to.
Yeah, I know, but what it's called, a Whiff of Grape shot in pajamas or something.
With pajamas for a whiff of grape shot.
Yeah.
It's a very subtle expression. I can't understand why no one.
Yeah. Cool.
And those games are there. So very playable, very enjoyable, and that's the critical part of it.
Yeah.
Lots of subtleties. The back of it with those army lists.
Yeah.
As a guide for people even just starting out on wargaming.
Yeah.
It's in my mind, I think this is going to set the benchmark for the following wargaming rules for a very long period to come.
Yeah. The nicest thing I can say about General d'Armée is I've played lots of games and not one of them have I not enjoyed, and not one of them has given me a headache.
Well, there you go.
Every time I've played, I've gone, oh, that was good. I want to have another game.
Correct.
And I think other than a handful of other rules, which obviously pick a charge, maybe chain of command. Well, chain of command's probably giving me some headaches, but that's because it's a playing chain of command. Sometimes it's really tense. You know, it's like you're holding like, wow, this could go either way. You know.
Your 10 points are nearly gone.
Yeah, and I somehow I can't help but identify with it because it's a platoon. It's like, and I have a habit of I name all my section commanders. I've even got sometimes I go, that's the Bren gunner, that's Stan Crab, you know. And it's like, I don't want Stan getting whacked.
God bless Stan.
Yeah,
he's a superstar, Stan.
Yeah, he's a good lad. Right. Yeah, when I was the RSM at the School of Artillery, he was a sergeant in in one of the wings in Joint Fires wing, which is like the observers and stuff. And he was always good for a laugh.
Oh man, I think his mum first brought him down to the club, wargaming club, when he was about 9 or 10.
Yeah.
Just to see and have a look see. So yeah, we've known Stan since he was a boy. He's a good lad.
Yeah, he is good.
His boy now,
yeah, he's got a lovely family too. Yeah, all right, mate. Well, listen, I'll wrap it up there because otherwise this will go on for hours and hours and hours. And
I know we could chat for a long time.
Yeah, definitely.
Appreciate the call, mate.
Yeah, no, thanks for your...
Any opportunity I've got to promote these on, I'm happy to, because I really, once again, I really think it's Napoleonic wargaming at the finest level.
Ooh. Yep. Sorry, mate. Hang on a sec.
War Games Holidays as well, so alongside in the Grand Manor, so that says a lot too.
Yeah. It's a good set of rules, and I highly recommend them. All right, mate. I'll leave you to it. Thanks for that. I've got other things I've got to do now. Jeez, look at the time here. What's it? It's 1 o'clock. What, 6 past 1 here. So it's what, 6 past 10.
6 past 10 on the other side of the country. The vast brown land.
Yeah, yes. The vast brown land that's just been put through the ringer for the last 18 months, just for everyone to go, nah.
Great talking to you. I look forward to catching up sometime, mate. Having a beer.
All right, take care.
Cheers.
See you, mate. Bye. So that was my chat with Carlo. Enough said about General de Armée 2nd edition. It's just a bit of a teaser, an intro. Look, if you're into Napoleonic wargaming, regardless of the scale, it's scale agnostic. I can't recommend General de Armée version 2 enough. It should be released before Christmas. I've spoken via email with Dave Brown, and he's confident it will be released before Christmas. Here in Australia, whether it's released on before Australia Day or not, at CanCon, there will be, in the large zone, we'll be playing General de Armée version 2. So if it hasn't been released by then, we're going to be playing using the draft version that Dave has been kind enough to send us, and we'll showcase it there. If it is released before then, again, if you are here in Australia and you are going to be at CanCon, come and check us out in the large zone where we'll be playing. And I'm always keen to talk all things Napoleonic, no matter whether it be about the rules or the history or the personalities. So we'll wrap it up there. Thanks very much for listening in. I'd love to hear your comments. Please like, share, and subscribe for no other reason that it lets me know that what we're doing here is worthwhile. And that's about it, folks. That's all. Catch you later. Ubiquate.